Hey guys, this is Spark Plus Ultra here, and this is my part 3 on
What a decade had sound hours. I wish I could rewind.
While Stain was being released and sent back, he was in the alleyway taking out heroes with his katana. And while he was doing that, Suku was thinking to himself, why do I have this mode? And Shigaraki, she said, Suku, are you really that worried about him? And Suku says, no, I'll take him out for not helping you. And Shiggy says, well, I think we can agree on this one. And Shigaraki looks at Suku. Something about you changed, not your appearance, but how you said it. And she looks at Zuku's face, and Zuku says, what? And Shiggy says, I don't know, it just feels weird. And Suki says, get off of me, and hitting her hand off his face. And Shiggy says, well, just take him out, and don't fail. And Zuki says this, if I failed you failed yourself, Shiggy, because I was never going to be a foot soldier that you said. And Shiggy says this, any information on All Might's status? And Suki says this, no, he lied about his weakness, and he's weakened. And Shiggy says, damn, fooled us. And Suku then says, how can I take out Stain, Master? And Shiggy says, fine, I'll send out the Nomos to take out Wreak Havoc a bit on a test. And Suku says, that's fine. And while Shiggy was gonna do that, Tomagiri teleports Zuku and Laserbeak and Ravage. And Suku says, Tomagiri, thank you. And Tomagiri says, not mention it. Tomagiri closed the portal. Suku says this, can't believe that worked. I lied to them about All Might's weakness. And Zuku thinks of how to track down Stain, but also about the heroes with some help. And looking at Ravage, and Zuku says, Ravage, I need you to insert this message. Ravage complied to Suku, and Suku gives him a message to the heroes. And Suku says this, don't let any of Shigaraki's Nomos catch you. If you get caught, I'll make sure to get Laserbeak to you quick. And Ravage goes to the UA to give the information to the heroes. And Suku then says, okay, Laserbeak, we need to go find Stain. Suku was putting on his hoodie and his mask to cover his identity, and having his glasses on to make sure his eyes can't be identified until he wants. And Suku checks his glove on how it would work on many frequencies, looking at different cameras from different places, trying to find where Stain's attack patterns are. And there was one lead that Suku figured out, a injury from a hero called Tensei Ida, Ingenious hero, one of the fastest heroes, but got injured by Stain's attack. He is incapable of using his quirk now. And Suku then thinks, seeing another hero died. And Suki then thinks, chooses her knight, so I could Laserbeak, find the perimeters to take out or find Stain. If you can find him, then give me a message. And Laserbeak agrees on Suku's idea and goes up. Laserbeak tries to find stain. And Zuko goes to a store and sighs and says, and thinks to himself, villain is not a very good choice. Why did I choose it? Why? And then thinks back when he was a kid. He was nearly a forgotten until All for One took him in, telling him that he would change this world and he can help him fulfill it and make the world a better place. And Zuko was thinking on why he thought he was stating truth, why he was blind by loyalty. And Zuko then grabs a water bottle, 2 of them, and goes to the register and says, I'll take 2 water bottles, please. And then the cashier said, alright. And Zuko bought 2 of the water. And the cashier said, hey kid, you remind me of someone. Don't I remember you? And Zuko says, no, I highly doubt that. It looks something like a garage band or something. The cashier says, right, you do look like that. And Zuko walks and says, of course he knows. I was the guy that was on the villain on the USJ incident. Why am I thinking this now? Then Laserbeak gives a code call and saying, found the mine. And Zuko goes where Laserbeak was and trying to find where Stain is. Laserbeak, don't get close to Stain. If you get close enough, then he'll take you out. And Laserbeak agrees and stays afar. And Zuko then thinks, why am I so cautious? Why am I so tired of being a villain? And Zuko looks at his hands. I was making these equipments to replicate the B-2 bomber, not the weapons, but the gear. The paint on my gloves are made out of the same material that was made out of the paint from the B-2 bomb. It took me 300 tries. I got it. It took me about a few months and no sleep. I kept on looking at that one video, that paint. Then I looked and replicated it. Thank God. But it was turned into something that I did not want. And Zuko then makes it to Stain's location. Laserbeak, where was he? And Laserbeak points at soars around. Zuko says, he's going to be here. Why? Then, when Zuko was staking out for Stain, he then hears an explosion. What the great Shigaragi is going ahead with the Nomu attack. 3 of those things are abominations. And Zuko then remembers, I was a kid, not just any kid. My head reflecting back on his memories and remembering what he sees. And Zuko then looks, I was given this quirk by All for One. Then Zuko then remembers, Doctor. And the doctor says, marvelous. This kid is compatible with this quirk, but needs to be with companions. And All for One says, that's too easy. And using one of his game pegs, he looks at 2 animals, the eagle and the jaguar. My, it's been a while since I did this to an animal. And the scientist says, be careful, All for One. Animals like these are not to be trifled with. And All for One says, oh, Professor, you always hesitate much. These animals are already hesitating. And putting his hand on the jaguar, and the jaguar tries to swipe, but his hand touched his head, and the Jaguar roars in pain and feeling his body change and becoming Ravage. And All For One touches the eagle and turning him into Laserbeak. And Suku, when in the test tube, sees the two animals becoming into what they are today. And then the scientist says, "Oh, our test subject has woken up. Time to not remember this." And turning his memory into a foggy, forgotten memory that is hidden from back when he was a kid. And Suku then thinks to Guntomokia. He hated All For One. He left him. I can agree, but he also used me. Gripping his hair and having his hand on his face. What am I gonna do to you? And when Zuko was thinking about that, the night has come and a scream comes out. Native American hero was taken out and was going to be killed by the hero killer Stain. But Stain stopped and sees another. And Suki sees the same kid that was in the USJ incident in the tournament. Suki hears what they're saying and listens. And Stain says, "Who are you?" And Tenya says, "My name is Tenya Ida, and I'm the little brother of you have dismembered my older brother, and you crippled him." And Suki then remembers the incident. No way. That's... Then Stain says, "Well, your act is impressive, but are you really a hero?" And Tenya goes for an attack, but Stain caught him and says, "You were more focused on revenge, that you didn't keep an eye on this person that's needing saved." Stain gives him a lecture and licks the blood, and Suki says, "That's it. That's the attack." And Ida was not moving. He was falling while his arm was pierced by that sword. And Suki says, "Ida, he had tactical advantage, but when is Ravage going to be here?" And under 1 minute, he's coming back. Got that information to All Might and Zawa. That's good. Laserbeak, get ready. And while Stain was going to kill Tenya, Laserbeak shoots out beams of lasers. Stain dodges. And then Stain says, "Do I remember that? And how interesting is this? A villain?" And Stain looks behind him and sees Suko. "Ah, Soundwave, it's good to see you." And Suko says, "Looks like I found you, Stain." And Stain says, "For a villain, you took your time. Well, I need lots of information to deal with you." And Suki looks at Tenya with his glasses on. Gotta get him away from him. And then, while he was keeping his eye off of Stain for a mere second, Laserbeak shoots a laser and stops Stain for a second. And Stain says, "Damn, it's impressive that your little friend has a range." And Suki says, "Don't try it. I got you surrounded." And Stain looks, "Where's your little other one? I heard he was called Ravage." And Suki says, "He's getting busy at the moment." And Stain says, "Well, that's good." And Zuko says, "What are you doing?" And Stain says, "Just this." And Zuko then sees Stain has a secret knife on his foot. And throws it at Laserbeak. And Laserbeak tries to shoot the knife, but the knife was quicker before Laserbeak react and gets him. and blood spewed a little, a drop, and Stain licks the blood of Laserbeak. And Laserbeak was falling to the ground while stopping his moving. And Suku then realized, crap! Laserbeak! Using his sound manipulation, Suku pushes back Stain, and Stain says, "Ugh," hitting him in the wall. "Ugh, didn't expect to have that." And while Stain was surprised of what Suku did, Suku grabs Laserbeak. "Are you okay, Laserbeak?" And Laserbeak squawks at him, and Suku sighs at relief. "Good, you're not totally injured." Putting him nowhere near to the battle, and Stain says, "You have care for your animals. Interesting." And Suki says, "Why? Is that strange?" And Stain says, "No, sometimes it's interesting that a villain like you can have a subconscious. Some villains are sociopaths, psychopaths, and all of that. But you have a different motive. I can't see anything through those stupid glasses of yours, but maybe on your movement." And Stain throws the knife at Ida, going to kill him. And Ida says, "No, this is not your battle. It's mine. It's gonna kill me." But when Ida braces for the near death, it didn't come near him. It didn't come at his head. But Suku blocked the knife with his hand. The knife was through his glove and through the other side. And Suku says, "Well, you know what my motive is, don't you, Stain?" Then when Stain says, "Your body moved just on its own," and Stain smiles. But when the knife hits Suki's glasses, the glasses shattered both sides, and Suki's eyes were tearing up. And Stain says, "Your eyes, they speak different to a villain." "No, you're no villain. You're a hero that is pretending to be a villain." Ida hearing that, "Is that true, Soundwave?" And Suku looks and says, "Don't get any wrong ideas. I would happily be a hero over a villain any day. I finally figured out why. And I hate All For One!" And Stain mere grinned. Your motives are just like All Might. You're a true hero!" And Suki pulls the knife out of his hand and throws it into the trash. And Suki says, "Ravage! Now!" And Ravage comes down, and Stain looks up. Dodging Ravage's attack, Suki fires his Psycho Echo and hitting him towards the trash beam. And Suki says, "What about me and Ravage? You might have fooled Laserbeak, but you're not fooling him." And Stain says, "Not bad. I should always expect that, but just so impressive to see what you're thinking." And Suki says, "Shut up!" And Suki goes for a punch. Then Stain licks the blood. Suki stops his fist at a mere second to Stain's face. "Quirk, you licked my damn blood in mid-air?" And Stain says, "Well, looks like you figured out what the quirk is, don't you, Soundwave?" And Suki looks at him. "Your quirk, it's blood curdle, isn't it?" And Tenya says, "What? Blood curdle?" Suki explains this. It's a quirk that allows a person to consume person's blood and tightens their body. restraining them into one place. Sort of like how we limit our bodies on a movement. Certain types could have effect, but this one is made for consumption. But you don't know my blood type, don't you? No, Stain says, but it gives me long enough to deal with your little pet. And Ravage growls at the Stain. And Stain says, you're a true hero on your word, Suku. Then heard that whisper and says, you know? And Stain says, I only figured as much. To my sense, you're always a kid that always considers to endure things. Suku. Well, you think I can endure this? And Stain replies to saying, I highly doubt you move like that. And Suku says, well, you're underestimating me. Stain says, huh? And then Suku punches him, turning back. Stain, feeling his jaw blown away, hitting the floor. And Suku says, just will alone. And Stain thinks nobody could use that amount of strength. And Stain figures out, you're using your quirk, sly bastard. And Suki says, always 10 steps ahead of you. And Suki says, Ravage, now! And Ravage bites Stain's sword and breaks it, chopping it in two. And when Suki's timer, Ida, now, move! And Ida then feels his body, not restrained. And then Ida runs and does his reciprocal burst to knock him out. But Stain was not unconscious yet. And Suku says, why don't you just be unconscious? And Suku moving his body. This hurts. I never underestimate my opponents. But for this, I'm gonna will myself to break you down! And Suku creating a sonic burst out of his fist, making a clashing sound, making it near to a jet fighter's Mach 1 sound burst, and knocking Stain out. And Suku then feels his body cracking. That hurts. And Ravage comes to Suku when falling. Thanks, Ravage. And Tenya says, Soundwave, I thank you. And Suku looks at him. Don't call me Soundwave, call me Suku. But don't use it in public yet. And Tenya says, yet? And Suku says, I'll explain. Laserbeak, are you moving? And Laserbeak feels his body moving and flies towards Suku. And Suku says, you're alright, thank God. And Suki looks at Tenya and sighs and says, I know you lost your brother. And Tenya says, huh? How did you? And Suki says, I'm sorry for your problem, but you need to get over it. You're still alive. And Suki smiles, saying these words, if you don't change yourself, you never will fight your own demons. And Ravage takes Suku and hides in the dark. And Tenya, looking at Stain, and feels frustrated. Why? Why do I have a deep regret? And when Suku was getting to the alleyway, Suku then hears a pop. That's my arm. Frickin' hell. I underestimated that blood curdle. God, that hurts. And Laserbeak comforts Suku, Ravage as well. But when they were about to hide in the dark, a hero comes and says, Suku Midoriya! And Suku looks and smiles. Well, isn't it? Nidre Hado is a unlikely timing. And Nidre says, wow, you have pets as well? They look so cute, but I'm going to take you to UA. We need answers from you. And Suki laughs it off and says, sure, no problem. Nidre takes Zuko and his pets to UA. And Nidre says, you're surprisingly more forward with this. And Suki smiles and says, it's been a while since I was in a good mood. And Nidre says, good mood? You're strange. And Suki says, maybe, but I want to help you guys now. And Nidre was surprised on what Suki heard. And Nidre says, are you? And Suki says, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm truly happy. And Nidre smiles, says, alright, no more talking. We need to keep you hidden for a bit. No problem. My gear is still made to hide myself. It's still active. That hurts. I think I popped my shoulder. And Nidre says, jeez, how badly brutal are you? In a weird answer, Zuki says, well, it is way worse than Hell's Paradise. But when Sugu stops walking, falls to Nidre's breast on top of his head, and Nidre says, hey, wake up! He's passed out. And Nidre carries Sugu and takes the two pets with him to UA. UA gets Zuku into a secret place to keep unwanted attention to other people. And then he was resting on his bed. And then when Zuku was resting on his bed, he hears a voice. Well, you look like shit. And Zuku wakes up and sees, well, it's good to see you, Eraserhead. And that's where I'm ending this video. I hope you liked this video and hope you subscribe. See you next time. Plus,